Welcome back to my channel. Y'all know what it is. It's M-World Entertainment, and I'm out here in Bridgetown, Barbados. I'm about to take a tour from coast to coast, and of course, bring you guys along with me. You know how we do it. Don't forget to thumb up the video. Don't forget to tell a friend, and don't forget to subscribe. Stay tuned.
That's our main fish market. Of course, being surrounded by water, the Atlantic Ocean on one side and the Caribbean Sea. We have fantastic fishermen. You can see every single square inch of that roof is covered with those lovely solar panels. Of course, we're coming up here into Bridgetown proper, and on your left hand side and your right hand side, these tall buildings are made from quarried limestone. And in the 1600s, the 1700s, and the 1800s, 1900s as well, there were really warehouses for storing what? Barrels of rum. Talked about that. Of course, Barbados Fisheries Division there on your right hand side, but as you can see, these lovely buildings here are of strong historical significance to the lovely island of Barbados. Of course, foster its private car park here on your right hand side. I've just noticed that recently. Columbus, well, we were here a long time before that. In 1492, he had a good look around, didn't see any gold, and he was off on his merry way. But in 1625, the English came to Barbados. A lovely gentleman called Captain Powell. And he thought, ooh, this might be an interesting place for Club Med. Let me just go and gather up 80 hapless souls. And he was back here 2 years later in 1627. But the reason why I gave you that little piece of history is to show you how old Bridgetown is. Bridgetown has been the capital of Barbados from the 1600s. Bridgetown was actually a thriving metropolis before America was a country. I don't see any gas. No gas. Everybody already knew that piece of history already? You like history? You're going to get a lot of history today. Not just history, though. Colloquial stuff as well. Remember, what's all this traffic? Oh yes, it's Friday. Yes, it's Friday. Mutual Assurance Building. It was actually the home of the Gentlemen's Club of Barbados. All the rich merchants and all the rich plantation owners, the gentlemen will congregate there, of course, to smoke cigars and do things that nobody was supposed to. Barbados known as the DeCosta and Musson Building. It was actually the Colonnade Building. That building has stood there since the early 1800s, and lots of Georgian architecture here in Barbados. You notice some of the buildings have slight curvatures to the building as well, harking back to Georgian architecture. You'll see a lot of that if you go to London. A lot of the buildings with white facades and columns and curved buildings and so on. So Barbados still takes on. You see this building, they've done something very modern with theirs. That's the City of Bridgetown Cooperative Credit Union. This is a bustling metropolis, and as Captain Romario says, this is Friday. People get paid on a Friday. They come into Bridgetown to do shopping on a Friday. A whole bunch of things happening in Bridgetown. This is not the norm. Lovely taxi gentleman here, Z704. He's washing down his Mercedes. He's doing something, what should I say now? Romario? Doing something with his time. He's not caught in traffic like we are. Pardon me? He's watched your bus too? Okay, obviously the name of the gentleman is Lucky. And Captain Romario lets me know that Lucky also washes these buses as well. He's a busy character. He doesn't know why it's traffic. It's just what it is. It's unusual. On the broad street of Barbados, we have a smorgasbord of jewelry stores. Of course, you see we have Canadian Imperial, Bank of Commerce. Sorry, we have Scotiabank. Oh, something happened up there. Yes, I can see. Yes. But I want you to start, when we get here by the junction, I want you to have a little look onto your left-hand side. There's something very, very rare. A shop that doesn't exist almost anywhere else in the world. In Barbados, we have the legal right to have the very last one, I believe, in the New World. Coming up here, sense of anticipation here on your left hand side. When you see the sign, you can tell me what you see. Oops. Did you see it? Woolworths. I know. You not miss it yet? Get your camera out. FW Woolworths, and they still sell the best sweets. When a little girl, your mom takes you to Bridgetown, you want to go to the pick a mix corner. There we are, FW Woolworths. I know. I think Australia still has a few, yeah. Yeah, I know.
Oh no, you're fine.
Of course, we're making our way up Broad Street. Coming up on your left hand side, this lovely building here with the red flags on it, duty-free Bridgetown. We used to call it Cave Shepherd. I don't know how they're still holding on with their fingertips as being Barbados' leading department store. We know department stores all over the world are closing, but this is a fabulous place. Oh, there's an ambulance. Oh dear, something must have happened. Oh, there's an accident. Oh. People rubbernecking at the fender bender here on your left hand side. We just passed Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce here. But coming up here on your right hand side, we have our newest monument. We took down the monument that was there before, which is the monument of a gentleman called Nelson, Admiral Nelson. No, we didn't put him in the sea. We escorted him gently to the Barbados Museum. But now this monument is called "Be Loyal Sons and Daughters All." And here on your left hand side, we have the oldest parliament and seat of democracy in the New World, the Barbados Parliament. It's absolutely fantastic, gorgeous building made from solid limestone. It's been going as a seat of democracy since the mid 1600s. You see a blue disc? You see a blue disc right over that door right there? Dark blue disc? That's that Barbados National Trust disc telling everybody how important it is. But here on your right hand side, this lovely fountain signifies the first time that piped water came to Barbados. And yes, the drinking water in Barbados, you can drink it from the tap, folks. Natural spring water from the tap. So of course it's called Bridgetown. It can't be Bridgetown unless it has at least one bridge. We have two. So coming up here, just over there on your right hand side is a swing bridge. That bridge will open up and let these big fish, deep sea fishing boats come in. But here we're going to turn on our right hand side and we're going to go over the other bridge, a stationary bridge right here in Bridgetown. Of course, this river is called the Carinage, and most people just call it River Road, and the Carinage. On your left hand side, we have the Granville Williams bus terminal, the major bus terminal, one of the major bus terminals here in Bridgetown. That's an absolutely beautiful, picturesque moment right there on your right hand side. So as we pass here, that bridge is actually open and you can see boats actually coming in. But when we turn this corner here on your right hand side, we have Golden Square Freedom Park on your right hand side. This used to be the location of the National Insurance Building or Social Security. The building got sick. We destroyed it and we put this lovely park in its place. And why? That is the birthplace of democracy for people of African descent in Barbados. The trade unions used to meet there and agitate for change. And it's through the trade union movement that Barbados actually became a democracy. So we're going to come out of a lot of the hustle and bustle of Bridgetown. Here on your left hand side, we still have this lovely river, and in recent times it's been totally cleaned up. Christmas time they float rafts down this river, stationary rafts, and they put Christmas trees on it that are decorated by the children of Barbados. Straight ahead, that brightly colored building, you cannot miss it, the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. Now, Nobody wants to visit the Queen Elizabeth Hospital when they're here in Barbados on holiday. No, but if you have to, you'll be okay. More than likely, you'll probably end up with private medical care, but private medical care is a fraction of the cost of what it costs in other parts of the world. Barbados, we are festooned by something that I think that you guys might find interesting. They're called snowbirds. Oh yes, and the majority of them used to be from Canada, but quite a few of them are from North America now. They're giving the Canadians a run for their money. And one of the reasons why snowbirds come is not just the sun, the sea, and the fun, but a lot of them, especially Canadians, will tell you they'll wait till they come to Barbados to stock up on their prescriptions. They have the PET scans done, the MRIs done, the CT scans done. They'll go to private doctors and specialists here in Barbados. If they need to have elective surgeries, they might choose to have them in Barbados because we have such fantastic medical care here in Barbados. To us, it might seem a little expensive, but really due to the average cost of a visit being 150 US, 100 US dollars at a time, people in Barbados can go. I had major surgery done to the palm very much, but there's an area behind here on the right hand side called Belleville, and in my mom's time it was the Beverly Hills of Barbados, and every street was lined with these lovely tall palm trees. Of course, people cut down the palm trees over the time, but now this area is actually festooned with cardiologists, radiologists, places to go and get blood tests done, eye doctors, plastic surgeons, you name it, all down this side, this area called Belleville. It's very close to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. On the opposite side, a little bit further on, is Belleville, which is the main private hospital of Barbados. But coming up here, if you look straight up that hill, you will see a little hut. Can you see a gentleman inside there with a white jacket on? Do you see him? Well, if you didn't see him, that is the entry to the official residence of the President of Barbados. And the President of Barbados is a lady. Oh yes, Dame Sandra Mason. She was the last Governor General of Barbados, which is the representative of the Queen, because Barbados became a republic just a couple of years ago. We thought it's mighty good time. We've been independent since 1966. It's now time that the head of our, there you go, that is the official residence of the Prime Minister of Barbados. Not too sure. Secondary school, our high schools are called secondary schools, and almost all of our secondary schools and our high schools, some of our primary schools will be festooned by a bright mural. Why? Because we're trying to encourage our young people to not just be engaged in traditional education, but also to be engaged in the arts. Exactly. Childcare can be a bit expensive. Obviously, they're still in school now, so you won't see anybody in their school uniform. There's that mural that I spoke about. And as we continue, I think we're gonna pass the nursery first before we pass the childhood room. All is the same compound. So the next school that we're going to pass, it's a Barbados nursery school, one of the government nursery schools, and right next to it is Charles F. Broome Primary School. We call it junior high. This is the nursery school, and this is Charles F. Broome Primary. And guess who went to school at this school? Yes, the lovely Robin Rihanna Fenty. She went to school there. Actually, she did really good in school. You would not be surprised, because she's really doing really well in business. She went to the same school as you? University. Okay. University of Waterford. On my left here we have Flo. Flo, one of the two major telecommunication providers in Barbados and in the region. So in Barbados we have optical fiber to the homes. Over 95% of the homes in Barbados, we have optical fiber running to the homes. We have high-speed internet. Gone are the days where we are awaiting microwave technology to be connected to the rest of the world. We have subsea cables with built-in redundancy, linking all the English-speaking Caribbean islands to the rest of the world with respect to internet. Oh yes, we are very serious about this. in Barbados when the internet go out. If it does go out, people are ready to commit some sort of a murder. It's a very serious thing. Anyhow, coming up here on your right hand side, we have another residence. This one for the Prime Minister of Barbados. The official residence is called Alara Court. Right here on your right hand side, it was actually the residence of the first Governor General of Barbados. He willed it to the people of Barbados, and we immediately decided it would be the official residence of our Prime Minister. And yes, the Prime Minister of Barbados is another lady, the Honorable Mia Amor Motley. I don't want you to go away from Barbados thinking that lovely gentleman like Captain Romario here. Sanford Complex. It is now the home of Ross University. Barbados boasts having at least 4 medical universities on just one tiny little island. These are not universities where you can pay for your degree. They are proper universities. That one was in Dominica. They had a major hurricane, flattened the place. Prime Minister of Barbados had a quick straight ahead. It's called the Bussa Monument, or we call the Emancipation Statue. It's commemorating a gentleman called Bussa. He was the leader of the only major slave rebellion in Barbados in 1816. Unfortunately, it was unsuccessful. But just a few short years later, in 1835-36, the emancipation of slaves across the whole entire British Empire. So he was a man before his time. And now we are actually traveling on the ABC highway. I guess I know in your part of the world it's 6 and 7 lanes coming and going, lots of traffic and lots of noise, lots of horns, but this is all those lovely big majestic mahogany trees is St. George Parish Church. Now if you're a fancy bride and you want everybody to see your wedding dress, then you want to get married at St. George Parish Church. They have the longest aisle. If you're into that sort of stuff. If you're not, so here we are, going up elevation again. Yeah. Now if you look at both sides, you can see that they've actually cut into the terrace to actually put this road here to come out and have a look at. And if you go up there, the views from up there are absolutely panoramic, absolutely gorgeous. Imagine being stationed there in the 17 or the 1800s. Well, it looks like a bit of a prison cell where you had aluminium, as we would say, aluminium sheeting on the roofs. But can you see something else on these roofs as well? Solar, yes. Barbados has a long history of renewable energy. And that renewable energy history starts all the way back in the 1600s with the story of sugar. Because sugar, as you know, it's a grass. I don't see any at the present moment. We've just cut most of them. But what you're seeing on your left and on your left here is a few. There's not much sugar. We pretty much cut it. US dollar is $1.98 Barbadian in the bank, or $2 Barbadian to every $1 in the street. Of course, the bank has to take their 2 cents, literally. Oh, look at over on your right hand side. That's an old windmill. It is illegal in Barbados to destroy the remnants of an old windmill. People have them as follies, people have them as barns, offices, the foyer to their house, you name it. It's part of our history and they cannot be destroyed. So those solar water heaters that you are seeing on some of those houses, they're not 10 years old. Some of them are not 15 years old. Some of them are not 20, 35, 40 years old. But almost all of them have worked every single day without fail or needing a spare part. I, however, was one of the few people that have a solar water heater that in year 28, I live near the ocean. The rivets that are used to actually keep the actual barrel that holds the water in it started to rust. I needed a new water tank. So that's a fantastic investment into something that tends to reduce people's electricity bills by up to 40 to 45%. Fantastic. Now, people of Barbados have gone even further. We have photovoltaic systems. So when you see people have on their roof more than 2 solar panels, you start to see 6, 8, 10, 12, 15, 20 solar panels. They have solar assisted electricity. So much so that the Barbados Light and Power, who generate the energy in Barbados and will charge you on average $150 plus US a month for your electricity, will buy back electricity from you when you generate more than you need. So a lot of these houses that you see with multiple solar panels on their roofs get an average of $300 US or more a check written to them from the power company. So obviously, no, that's a final resting place there. I know you want to stay in Barbados, but you don't necessarily want to stay there. That's the final resting place of the St. John Parish Church parishioners, ordinary folk. Takes us to our next stop, which is St. John's Parish Church. It works for us. So in the olden days, if you wanted to go to school, you really had to, pardon me? Oh, where, you see? Oh, look, on your right hand side. Barbados black belly sheep. They're not goats. Indigenous to the island of Barbados. Not exactly sure how they got here. Any vegetarians in the coach today? Any vegetarians? They're crossbreed from an African sheep and oh really? It's a crossbreed. You see how I'm learning new things every day? Any vegetarians in the house? Because those black belly sheep taste really good. Yo, I'm serious. Lamb neck soup is a delicacy here in Barbados. Pardon? Captain Romario says, I cannot believe I have to say this. He is going to be a little bit horny from time to time. We're on the eastern side of Barbados. I'm hoping that many of you decide that you want to come back to Barbados and have a long stay holiday and be encouraged to rent a vehicle. Yes, and you will have to drive on the correct side of the road. Like Captain Romario behind me here. And we know that you will get lost when you hire a vehicle because we have not signposted the place properly on purpose for the bus stops. How many places in the world have you been with their lighthouse? Sorry, windmill house. That's the base. They've made it the foyer of their house. That's cool, isn't it? Talk about embracing tradition. Here on the right hand side we got some banana plants. They're not trees. It's a shrub. It's a grass. That was plantain. I don't know the difference between plantain and banana until they start growing. Plantain plants are much taller. But as you can see, I'm challenged vertically. Everything looks tall to me. Have you seen those gabion boxes on the right hand side? Those boxes that are filled with rocks? Those wire boxes? Yeah. They are there to keep the soil in place. Remember I said, we're in sand and clay soil neighborhoods. Oh, bless you. And when you mix sand and clay with heat and water, you're going to get some land slippage. So those are called gabion boxes, and they're really good at keeping the soil together and keeping the land where it's supposed to be. But of course, if you look at the actual asphalt, you'll start to see cracking and feathering because you're putting something oily, which is asphalt, in front of that house. Barbados is festooned with cannons. Why? Because if you have something that's worth more than any other territory in the whole British Empire and it's far away from England, what are you going to do? You're going to protect it. Barbados had a full British regiment from the mid-1600s all here passion fruit, right? Oh yeah, this is a passion fruit vine right here. Passion fruit right there, for sure. Captain Romario is a fan of passion fruit. I'm not a big fan of passion fruit. Well, it's okay. It's a bit acid. Look at the view out here on your left-hand side. That is the view of Bathsheba.
We're getting out, right?
Oh, we're not getting out here.
Oh,
This is not a safe place to get out. It's a great place for a picture. That's the money shot. Hundreds and hundreds of professional photographers all over the world come here, set up tripods and so on to take shots of this island. Can you see those lovely boulders? Those boulders are actually made from limestone, even though these hills surrounding us are made from sand and clay. Many different geologists have very different, this side of the island as well. Only fishermen here in Hillcrest Community Center here on your right hand side. Fantastic views, one of our newest community centers. A lot of these buildings, but down here, a lot of these units are Airbnb. People come down here, lots of villas. Some of these are second homes and third homes. People from different parts of the world, but mainly quite rustic and beautiful. Of course, where we're going to be stopping is called the Old Train Station. There used to be a train in Barbados as well, and that train was just really for taking, again, barrels of sugarcane and rum down to Bridgetown.
She said they call this the Old Train Station. Boulders. The best photos ops.
Nation of North America and the RV Nation have nothing on the shallow houses of Barbados. But coming up here to your left, this lovely pink little church is an active church called St. Aidan's. It is an Anglican church, Church of England. Here's somebody got married there the other day. Coming up here on my right hand side, this lovely little house that you see here, festooned in pink. Bold and the Beautiful came to Barbados, and we got excited in Barbados many years ago because the Bold and the Beautiful was coming to Barbados, and they were going to show us our lovely island. Yeah, bridge and broken, blah blah blah. Somebody got kidnapped. Yeah. Surfers coming down. I can tell that surfers will be coming down there. But right down at the beginning where you saw the rock and stuff like that, that is not safe. All of these there is full of reefs that are just under the break of the bay. Imagine living at the top of here and seeing that view. This lovely lady at the front asks some what we call buying questions. How can I live in Barbados? How much will it cost me? What will it mean from a tax point of view, etc., etc. Well, average 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home on the island of Barbados, fairly good nick, 150 to 250,000 US dollars. Yes, you can buy it totally freehold, meaning it's not leased, it becomes yours. You can lease it to whoever you want afterwards. And yes, you're allowed to purchase on the island of Barbados, and it is yours. You can purchase it, of course, outright. You can purchase it as a condo in a gated community with a management team, so that when you are not there, they can rent it out for you, look after it, and give you some residual income as well. All such possibilities are available for home ownership in Barbados. Start thinking about it. And yes, you can live here. Next great question. So, as you can imagine, there have been many people who have come to Barbados. Some of them wanted to abscond illegally. Remember at the beginning of this tour, I told you I would be counting and taking you all back to the port. But if some of you want to stay on the island of Barbados, there are multiple different ways to do so. And one is become an international award-winning tourism and relocation product. It's called the Welcome Stamp. And it literally is exactly what it says it is. You can Google Welcome Stamp Barbados, and once it's the official Welcome Stamp Barbados government site, they will start asking you questions about you and what you do for a living, why you want to come to Barbados. And once you have a job that will not negatively impact a Barbadian, and if you have a job that would actually bring jobs to Barbados, make it even better, but it's not a requirement, you can apply like the 8,000 plus people worldwide who have applied, and over 3,500 of them have been successful to be welcomed into Barbados with a welcome stamp in their passport. Says that you can come and you can live here. You can buy a home here. You can bring your children here. They can go to school here as well. And because we have high-speed internet, we have lots of digital nomads, and quite a few CEOs, CFOs, owners of companies and so on that have decided to relocate their life to Barbados. Most of the people who came in the very first year of the Welcome Stamp, I think that was Canada, of course, Prime Minister Trudeau. Wow. So, are we leaving because you saw somebody that you know? Well, Captain Romar and I are discussing the fact of the language of the horn. It's gorgeous, isn't it? I mean, I know of it, but I've never noticed it before. Father, bless my hustle and elevate my mind. No, seriously, that's a picture-taking moment. Father, bless my hustle and elevate my mind. You going next there now? Oh. Obviously, this is somebody's fruit stand. Person's not here at the present moment. Mission in Barbados to create national flag of Barbados. We knew we were going to be independent in 1966. And the gentleman that won the competition, he put some real thought into the flag of Barbados. So, the flag of Barbados is actually aquamarine, gold, and black. But we affectionately call it blue, yellow, and black. So there's an aquamarine stripe on one side and an equally sized aquamarine stripe on the other side. One to represent the Caribbean Sea and one to represent the Atlantic Ocean. But in the middle is a broad stripe of gold or yellow, of course, to represent this lovely sunshine that we have here on the island. But the most important, notable thing about the Barbados flag is the broken trident in the middle. If you know anything about the history of the British Empire, it was always signified by a mythical character called Britannia. And in her hand, she had the long trident of Neptune or Poseidon. And we, the people of Barbados, believe, since we have made so much money from the British Empire, that we reserve the right to chop off the top of that trident and place it in the middle of our flag. They didn't seem to have a problem depending on the century. And they're dismantling that house, and they're gonna allow you to scramble probably onto the back of the same truck or donkey cart with your little Georgie bundle. You know what a Georgie bundle is, right? It's a little sack on a stick. Earned over 13,000 Barbados dollars, which is 6,500 US dollars. Income tax at what, 23.5%? Oh, ouch. You can't have it all. You can't live in paradise and also take all the money home with you. And you can't carry it with you. You know, you gotta spend it. VAT, value added tax or sales tax is at 17.5%. Is that okay? For Europeans, it's not bad. All the way down to the ground. Thick, no, thin vines, but they're quite a lot of them. Ooh, I digress. Here on your left-hand side is Lion Castle Polo Estate. I'll talk about Barbados in a second. Polo Estate. Barbados boasts some of the best horse flesh in the whole of the entire Caribbean. There's a gentleman, his name was Charles O'Neill Williams, C-O-W. Oh, Othniel? Not O'Neill, but Othniel? That's an O-F? Oh dear. Okay. Charles Othniel Williams, who became a multi-millionaire. He was actually knighted by the Queen for his efforts. He fell in love with the sport of polo, and he said, in my lifetime, Barbados will be part of the international polo circuit, and he did it. The Barbados Energy and Sugar Company. I wonder if they're using the byproduct of sugar. One of the byproducts, which is called bagasse, is actually the pith that is left after you squeeze the juice out of it. I wonder if they're using that as an energy source. Probably. Even the sargassum seaweed, I know if you were hailing Old Town when the British came here in 1625 and 1627. Pardon? Okay. The place where the first town of Barbados is in Old Town, where the British settled in 1627. Of course, they have a monument. At the time it was called Jamestown, in deference to King James of England. But of course, the river was called the River Hole, and it was renamed Old Town. I think Jamestown has a better ring to it, but you know, I digress. Here on the left, we have the Lime Grove Lifestyle Center. All those ladies who want Cartier, Ralph Lauren, Breitling watches and the like. On the left here we have the lovely Methodist Church of St. James. It's absolutely gorgeous, made from limestone quarried from the island of Barbados. But here on your right hand side, that monument depicting the first place where the English landed on the island of Barbados, surrounded by the municipal buildings of St. James, which have a good look at them because in the future they will not be there. Of course, we have the Old Town Library Service, the Barbados Revenue Authority, where you go to pay all your taxes and your licenses. We have the Magistrates Court, and of course, if you are very naughty, there's the police station. I see a policeman getting ready to go into the police station. Hopefully, you don't get a chance to see what the inside of that police station looks like, a prison cell. On your left-hand side here, we have Massey Supermarket. Of course, Starbucks coffee has come to Barbados. Yay. Lady says yay. We have Subway as well. Little Caesars. Slowly these things are coming. No McDonald's now. Burger King is here. These are fantastic examples of shuttle houses that I talked about earlier. See how beautiful they are? Absolutely gorgeous. Of course, this being whole town right behind here, this lovely area from here all the way to the edge of the terrace. So as far as the eye can see from here to the edge of the terrace, this area is called Sunset Crest, and it's festooned with a lot of our snowbirds, especially our Canadian snowbirds. Sitting right here next to the Sandy Crest Medical Center, and yes, you can go there and have your MRI, CT scan, PET scan. There's also an emergency clinic there as well. But of course, this is the west coast of Barbados, affectionately called the Platinum Coast of Barbados. Why? Well, it's purported that we have at least 13 billionaires with residences on this side of the island. So on this side of the island, you're going to start to see luxury condominiums. After luxury condominiums, we'll have luxury villas as well as we head south. And this lovely building here is where Rihanna has her Barbadian home. Of course, she bought a villa for her mother up in Royal Westmoreland. You know, she's yeah, she's a billionaire now. She's a billionaire now. 1.7 billion. Yep, what she's worth now. However, her being made a national hero of Barbados is not about the music. It's not about the fashion. It's not even about the makeup line. It's mainly about her her foundation, the Clara Lionel Foundation. Clara after her grandmother, Lionel after her grandfather. Gives that foundation gives money to the global south, to small island developing states that are suffering from disasters. Also the education to do with climate change and environmental studies and so on. And that is the main reason why she has been named the last and final national hero of the island of Barbados. Of course, this is the off season for a lot of the hotels. So of course they pick this time of the year to do their refurbishments, to do their upgrades. It's not worth it to digress from that, because trust me, they will put you in the paper and shame you and take you to court. Here on the right hand side, we're coming up to this monument. This is a monument called the Cubano Monument. It is the only time that Barbados has ever had been touched by international terrorism. In 1976, on the 6th of October, a Cubana flight leaving Barbados, leaving here to go to Cuba, was actually destroyed, bombed off the coast of Barbados, and all souls were lost. This monument is to commemorate them. I think they have one of the most beautiful resting places. It's fostered a deep relationship between Cuba and Barbados. Every year there's a ceremony that is held there to commemorate that event. But coming up here on your left hand side, I think I mentioned this restaurant before, the Cliff Restaurant. The executive, oh, it's soaking tonight. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I digress. The Cliff Restaurant is that restaurant I spoke about that the executive chef boasts a Michelin star. They also have another unit in there called the QP Bistro under the same management as the Cliff Restaurant. It's really being made in England now. It's still got tropical advertising, but there you go. Hands up all those people who've had a good time with some Malibu rum. Not as many as I would think. Here. But people are drinking Malibu rum anymore. Well, I hope you're drinking Barbados rum instead. 1703, right here. So if you come back to Barbados and you want to get some free rum, you can just go to the visitor center there. Oh yes, Burj of Paints, the lasting beauty and perfection. Your house is painted with Burj of Paints? I don't think mine is painted with Burj of Paints. I think it's Harris. Okay. Alright. Well, Captain Romario has a little bit of a surprise for you. I suggest that. Well, he might have to ask his mom for that. You never know? come punch anything at your house? Now you say after we passed your house. But he has a little bit of gift in store for you. I don't know how many of you are Rihanna fans. Might want to get your phones out. You see that we have a little bit of time here. We're actually going to go down the street where Rihanna grew up. It's now called Rihanna Drive. Left hand side here. This is the cemetery that Rihanna used to run around, fly kites and play in. Oh, somebody's being buried right there. But here we are. This is Rihanna Drive. This is the monument that's put here to our diamond. Lovely Robin Rihanna Fenty. And down here on your right hand side, I'm going to point out to you the home where Rihanna grew up as a little girl. Her life has changed somewhat since then. I have you know it's an Airbnb now, so you can stay there if you want to. Here we are. You can see it right there on the ground, blue and yellow, plaque there saying Rihanna. Mr. Taxi Man, would you please just ease up so that people can actually see the house properly though? This one right here. This is Rihanna's.
He's in my photo.
Oh, so the picture's for her, really? So you're taking a picture for a friend. I believe you. I wonder if they're probably in the same cruise ship because he's got.
I was gonna say we could have freaked him out laughing on this going off.
Yeah. Actually, we just had World Cup cricket in Barbados. T20 World Cup cricket. I know that you're filled with Americans, but this year the International World Cup cricket was actually held in conjunction with the Caribbean, between the Caribbean and America. So there was cricket actually being played in America. Cricket is a 2028 Olympic sport. This whole street was blocked off with sound systems and music and partying at night after they held cricket at Kensington Oval. We're going to pass Kensington Oval. Kensington Oval is the ancestral, that's the bulk sugar store. You can see an actual fantastic view of it now. And as I said, changing it into part of the upgrade of the Bridgetown port. So, hands up all of you who think that they want to come back to Barbados again. See, come back to my island, Barbados. Come back to my island and me. Thank you so very much. It's my absolute pleasure to be your tour guide today, aka your first officer. My name is Michelle.